Alright, what is up YouTube viewers? It's been quite a while since the last upload. Apologize for that. Over the past couple months, I did order in some parts for the Subaru, so more content. Today we're actually going to be installing the Plm Axle-Backs, give it more of that sound. I'm also going to be installing a Billet-Works shift knob, which I purchased from Billet-Works, so shout out to them, and as well as LED license plate lights for the car. So without further ado, let's get started. So what we're going to be doing is the license plate lights. It's real simple. You got 4 pop clips that you need to remove in order to get access to the actual bulbs themselves. So all you need to use is a flathead screwdriver to pry them open. And make sure you don't lose these clips. So after you remove the 4 pop clips, you can remove this liner, push it down, and then it reveals your 2 light harnesses. There's 2 bulbs. You just have to unplug the harness, twist it, and then you can put in your new LEDs. So there's your bulb right there. It's your cheap halogen ones. As you can see, we have the LED ones right here. So all you really got to do is just take these guys out. Plug these guys in. There you go. If it doesn't turn on the first time, like once you have these lights turning on, and if the bulb actually doesn't turn on, you can always flip it. That's because of the polarity. So if it doesn't turn on the first time, take it out, flip it, and move it like that, so you get that polarity correct. Alright guys, so we're moving into the interior. I'm going to be removing the shift knob and putting in the Billet-Works shift knob. So the Billet-Works shift knob, you actually have the nut and this piece right here for the threading for the knob itself. So you're using the nut first to actually put right on top where the lever of the reverse lockout is. So this will be first, and then you're going to be using this piece for the threading for the knob. So all you got to do for the shift knob here to remove it is you just twist like so, counterclockwise, to remove the stock shift knob. So yeah, it's very light. That's why a lot of people like getting aftermarket shift knobs. Gonna use this nut like I said before. Gonna be threading it on there, just so it has room here for play. So you can still use the reverse lockout right there. And you can use this. There we go. You can see you can still use that. And then I opted for the Japanese engraving with the WRX logo in the middle, in a gold and black finish. The actual knob is matte finish. You can also get it in gloss as well, so it's pretty cool. And thread this on here. So that's how it's gonna look like. Just test fitting it, because you're gonna have to tighten this down using a 19mm wrench and a 17mm wrench. So I didn't actually need to use the 17 and 19mm wrenches. For some reason when I threaded it on, it actually was lined up to the actual interior, meaning the shift gate pattern was already lined up to the front of the car. So I didn't have to do any adjustments with the actual threading for the nuts. So I guess it all depends on how much you thread or whatever the case may be. But for my specific threading and knob, I didn't have to do any of those adjustments. That is not possible for all shift knobs and all threading because they're all different. So in my case, I didn't have to use the wrenches, but they're still going to be required regardless if you do want to tighten it down, or if you need to do any more adjustments if you do have engraving on your shift knob. So that's what I would still recommend you do. Use those wrenches. So I ended up voice recording the rest of the installation. As you can see, this is the OEM exhaust, very tiny, doesn't even take up the full space of where the exhaust sits. So now we're going to be upgrading to the new Plm Axle-Backs exhaust. So to start off, we can use the jack to jack up the car in the rear. Use the rear diff please to jack it up. Do not use any other place underneath, just use the rear diff. And also use jack stands afterwards, so you can take out the jack so it remains planted with the jack stands holding it in place. Alright, so once you have the car jacked up, you can go ahead and unloosen the nuts and bolts on each side. You're going to be using an offset wrench, 14mm, as well as an air ratchet. You can also use an impact gun to help unloosen the nut and bolt. If they're pretty rusty, you can always use a PB Blaster or WD-40 to help with loosening up those nuts and bolts as well. Depending on how old the nuts and bolts are, you'll probably have to use the hand tools first to unloosen them. If you use the power tools first, you might break either the nut or the bolt or both. This Axle-Backs does not come with its supply of nuts and bolts, so you have to reuse the OEM nuts and bolt that the exhaust comes with. And then once those nuts and bolts are off, you can go ahead and work on the hangers. There's two hangers that's supporting the muffler. There's one right behind the rear diffuser, and there's one by the rear wheel. You can go ahead and spray whatever you need, WD-40 as you can see right there. Spray them off, loosen them up, and then you can take it out. And just be mindful when actually taking it off of the hangers themselves. It might come out unexpectedly when you're trying to pull it, so having another person is also very helpful in this case. So just be mindful of that again, and you can now successfully take out the muffler. Being how blocky of a muffler this actually is, it's definitely heavier than the Plm Axle-Backs. The Axle-Backs themselves, they're only about 8 pounds each, so definitely some weight savings there. And the condition of the muffler, of the OEM muffler rather, it's pretty good, so. So PLM actually supplies you with the gaskets. So all you have to do is put in the new gasket, put it on top of the Y pipe, and connect it to the Axle-Backs piping. And then you would just have to tighten up the nuts and bolts again, and then you should be set. as you can see from the sound clip earlier, it sounds very nice. It's a nice deep tone. People say it sounds, well, most Axle-Backs all sound the same. This one, to me, in my opinion, has a little bit more of a deeper tone, a deeper rumble, compared to, for example, the nameless Axle-Backs. The PLM is one where I haven't really seen any other sound clips on YouTube, and I just wanted to see for myself how it sounded like, and it turned out to be perfect, exactly what I wanted. The resonator is actually deleted on this car, which I found out after the fact, so I'm running a resonator delete and a muffler delete. I don't think it had too much of a difference if I did have the resonator still, but it still has a nice deep tone, and I really like it. The video itself, I don't think really does too much of justice, just because you gotta really hear it in person. And yeah, this is such a nice exhaust, so I'm very happy I picked one up. Alright, so that will conclude the video on the installation for the Axle-Back, the shift knob, and the LED license plate lights. Really appreciate it, you guys, for watching my videos and liking it and commenting. On a side note, I know that the COVID-19 coronavirus is still going on. I just want you guys just to keep continuing to be safe. Stay safe, keep yourself isolated as much as possible. And with that, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later.